Jackie will hand you a mic and you can step on your mark here so all the folks that are joining us on Zoom can see you.
All right.
You're up first.
I get to be first. So I'm Melissa Horton, and my guest today is Jeff Bessinger, who is also our Exhibits and Collections Director at the museum. And he is joining Rotary, so this will be his last time, hopefully, as a guest. And next time you see him, it'll be an induction.
John Noling? Where's John?
Come on, America.
Where is John Noling?
No,
Yes.
Esther is doing that.
Can we jump?
Come on up, America.
Okay. Go ahead.
I am not John Noling. My name is Marika Dobry, and I've introduced my mom, the Reverend Eileen Stoffen, before. She has recently been approved for membership, and she will be joining us as an official member in the very near future. So, welcome, Eileen.
It's like we got a staging area over there.
Who was the first one?
Yeah.
Scott Marichek.
Here you go. Okay.
Darlene's
And is
got the
Eliza
mic.
Piper
Watch
with
out.
you?
What?
Is Eliza Piper with
No, I was with Diane Fleischer.
you? Okay. Well, come on in.
What am I doing? Am I
We're
talking?
going to introduce you. Prospective member?
Yeah.
Okay, come on up. I don't know how to do this. This is a prospective member, but his host is not here.
Who's your host?
Diane Fleischer.
So,
She's sick.
Yeah.
Texted me and I'm like, I'm going anyway.
All right, since your host is not here, we're gonna let you introduce yourself. I know.
Nothing like being put on the spot. Hi. My name is Scott Marichek. I'm just moving back to Muskegon, 10 years in Oregon and a year in Houston. And I'm starting a nonprofit called Resilient Solutions, and it's going to transform industrial and commercial spaces that are at their end of life cycles to indoor growing permaculture farms. So growing food indoors with vertical wind turbines and stuff. So I'm actively buying a building and launching my nonprofit, and I guarantee I'll be a member in the next couple months when I quit spending money for a minute.
Thanks a lot, Scott. You can be seated. You got a guess? The next one.
Hello, my name is Rita Cavanis. I have my friend Dawn. She is a forensic nursing student from Oakland University in the hopes of becoming a sane nurse.
All right, scooch on in, guys. So just make sure we're in the... Good afternoon, Rotary. Please join me in welcoming North Muskegon Norsemen. To introduce two of their seniors is Ken Byard. He is the principal at the high school.
Hi, thank you. Greetings from Norse Nation. My name is Ken Byard. I'm the middle school, high school principal at North Muskegon, and I'm here to introduce to you two outstanding seniors. Before I do that, I just wanted to give a shameless plug for the district finals game tomorrow at West Michigan Christian at 6 o'clock. We'll be taking on Holton. So, yeah, go Norse. So my first introduction is to introduce you to Megan Hausman.
Hi guys, thanks for having us. I'm Megan Hausman. I attend North Muskegon High School. I'm a senior. I have a 4.0 GPA on an unweighted scale, and I'm attending Hope College next year to play softball, and I'm going to major in orthopedic surgery and minor in exercise science. I am a member of NHS. I'm an officer of Interact, leader of Early Act, president of Norse Care, and the senior class vice president. And I participate in volleyball, powerlifting, and softball.
So I posted that.
Hi, and I'm Kelty Blastic. I am a senior at North Muskegon High School. I have a 4.0 GPA on an unweighted scale, and I'm planning on going to either Michigan Tech or Michigan State. And I'm planning on majoring in chemical engineering. And I'm also a member of NHS, and I participate in football and track.
Okay. Okay. Come on in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Esther Rico, and I have the pleasure of introducing our Honduras travelers. They leave on Saturday. I've got Mackenzie Covington here from Orchard View. She's a senior. And I have Eliza Piper. She is a junior, senior from North Muskegon. And with her, and with these two ladies, Travis Piper, Eliza's dad, is going to travel with them to Honduras. So we're really excited about them leaving. They leave on Saturday. Don't ask them if they're packed, because they're not. I already asked them. But I have a short presentation. We had our last chili cook-off. I was past chair for the chili cook-off and in 2020, and we raised a lot of money at that event, and we had some money set aside for bags for the El Salvador trip to go that year, for the extra bags that we would take for donations. And that trip never went, didn't go in 2021, it's not going this year. And so Rewind decided that we would give the bag money to these folks. Here's your box. And we had $325 for bags, and they're going to take this to Honduras. We're going to let them spend it on whatever supplies they need, if it's supplies for making building latrines, or buying additional water filters, or whatever projects that they might need help, with building supplies and things like that. So I've got $325 in here. I'm going to put it in this box. Eliza and Mackenzie are going to stand outside of these doors after the meeting, and we are hoping to double the amount that I've just put in there. So if you can, we didn't have a chili cook-off this year, so if you were going to make us a pot of chili, if you were going to buy some tickets, maybe you take that money and you put it in this box, and we send it all to Honduras because they need the help. So thank you. And we've got a short video to show for the Honduras.
I am Eliza Piper, and I'm currently a senior at North Muskegon Public Schools. I am in the environmental and internet club at our school, and I also am involved with NHS. Well, my sister actually was the one who really got me started in this trip. She and one of her best friends named Sydney Peterson went, and she came back as just I guess her whole mindset about the way we live our life here and how society is here was changed a lot for the better. And she became a lot more grateful for the way that our lives are lived here and the things that we have. I'm also going with my dad, and he's coming, and I know he's excited for the manual labor aspect of it. So I think he's going to be a big contributor to the trip. We have it so lucky here, and I think people don't realize what it's like to go to a developing or third world country and see how poverty is and see how relevant it is everywhere throughout that country. So I just think it's an enlightening experience to learn how lucky we have it here.
All right. Thank you very much, Eliza and Mackenzie. And Travis, excited for your trip coming up this weekend. Okay, on to our program. Chris Colley is going to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you. Our community has watched in anticipation as the food, agriculture, research, and manufacturing, the farm has been erecting, and we're so excited to hear more about that today. With us is Clarence Rudat. He is the Accelerator Manager and Product Innovation Counselor for the Michigan State University Product Center. Prior to coming to the Product Center, he oversaw the Associate of Applied Science and Agriculture degree at Muskegon Community College and at West Shore Community College, along with the MSU certificate programs in agriculture operations, fruit and vegetable management, and landscape management, and the new urban forestry program to be launched this fall at Muskegon Community College. He was instrumental in the launching the mobile food lab concept at Michigan State University, along with assisting with the development of the food processing technology and safety certificate program. Rudat is also an adjunct professor for MSU, teaching food science and beekeeping courses. He is certified in Controlled Environmental Agriculture Program that focuses on hydroponic and aquaponic farming systems. He sits on the board of the Innovation and Entrepreneurship, the Sustainability Council, the West Michigan Agribusiness Talent Council, and 8 other advisory boards in the West Michigan region. We are so lucky to have his talent here in Muskegon. Over the years, he has developed his expertise over 3 decades as an educator and project leader in food and agriculture-related programs. His leadership resulted in a nationally recognized program as a model of innovation for programming. He created one of the first farm-to-school programs, which is featured as a model in the USDA's Food and Nutrition for Schools initiative, and led to serving as a National Hunger Awareness Ambassador, traveling the U.S. discussing programs to fight hunger in local communities by establishing entrepreneurial programs around local food sources. Welcome, Clarence, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, and one of the things that I am really passionate about is the fact that I grew up in West Michigan, left, said I was never coming back, and realized I'd made a big mistake. And I'm really happy to be back here and to be able to grow the world of food and agriculture here in West Michigan. So one of the questions I always get is, there's this facility called Farm, what's it about? And it's really difficult to explain. I'm going to try to do that in 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to go very fast. If you have questions, most people do, please save them to the end. And somebody's got to give me a swift kick if I start approaching on that 15 minutes and I'm not done. Okay. Some of you know me, and you know I can talk and talk and talk, so we'll try not to do that. Food, agriculture, research, and manufacturing is what FARM stands for. The individual in this picture, just to give you an overview and kind of a glimpse real quickly about what we do. This is a young student that started a company in his mother's kitchen called Big Dipper Cookie Dough. They're in all Meijer stores. He sold this company when he was 20 years old, moved to Chicago, and now on to his next venture. So we help grow entrepreneurs, but we do a lot more than that. So I'm going to attempt to talk about the MSU Product Center, which I work for, and where FARM fits into this big picture. Oh, yep, I guess that would be the first thing I need to do is turn that on. Thank you, Mike. So yeah, I looked a little bit different pre-pandemic. I've been nervous of somebody, I had surgery on my neck and nervous ever since then, so I need to find a barber who I can trust. But so I do work for the Michigan State University Product Center, and what I'd first like to do is thank everybody who was part of bringing FARM and the MSU Product Center to West Michigan. And I apologize if I miss anybody on here, but just to give you kind of a little bit of background, Consumers Energy funded a study way back when. Rich, you might know the date for that, but funded a study and then funded the West Michigan Food Processing Initiative to explore what we could do with the closure of the coal plant. And what floated to the top of that was food processing, food and agriculture, because of the wastewater treatment facility and the location that we are in West Michigan, around the second most diverse state in the nation in terms of food production. So the West Michigan Food Processing Initiative was launched. Senator Hansen proposed a bill for the actual facility of FARM. Muskegon Community College agreed to locate that facility there. And GMED had a big part in going after some funding through MDARD, USDA, the Grand Haven Community Foundation, Fremont Area Community Foundation for Muskegon County, Howmet Aerospace Foundation. John Grace was really good about finishing up some of the construction projects there. I can't say thank you enough, but the point is is that Farm would not be here if it wasn't for everybody having a part in making that happen. And the biggest thing I can say, and I'm from West Michigan, I couldn't think of a better place to have this facility, and that's to give yourselves a round of applause for making Farm happen, and it's here in Muskegon County. So thank you. Going to give you a little history just so you understand where we came from, the Product Center, and where Farm falls into that. The Product Center was created as a partnership by MSU Extension, the College of Agricultural and Natural Resources. It started working as a business in 2004, so it was not a nonprofit, it was a business. Expanded to Innovation Counselor Networks with MSU Extension in 2010. The Center for Economic Analysis was integrated into the Product Center. The Food Processing Innovation Center was built in 2018. So I'll show you a little bit about that facility, but to keep this in context, is all this great things that was happening with those individuals that we talked about in that previous slide, MSU had other stuff going on as well around food processing. So two things paralleling each other a little bit. In 2020, the management of the dairy food complex of the dairy store moved to the Product Center out of the academic side, and then Farm, in partnership with West Michigan, was built a year ago, and MSU is in the process of taking over operations of that facility, and I am the current manager of that right now. So the Product Center is a network of resources, services, business innovation, and economic development. And when you take a look at this, the Product Center is kind of this overarching, and we have campus networks, innovation counselors, which I am also part of, the Food Processing Innovation Center, which is a facility in Okemos, the Dairy Food Complex, and then Farm, the Food Agriculture Research and Manufacturing Accelerator here in Muskegon. You will notice there's only one place on there that really is located outstate from the East Lansing, Okemos area, and that is Farm. And I will give that credit to the people in this room and on that previous slide that were part of that initiative and moving that forward. So we're very grateful for that happening. So we've got a lot of campus resources, school packaging. There's a lot of interaction between those groups to make things happen with us here. The innovation counselors, I think we're up to 11 now statewide. So if somebody wants to develop a product, or we've got a company that wants to expand and get not only a food product, but maybe a piece of equipment out there, they can talk to those counselors and we can help them along. Very, very specific, because we can do things around food that are food safe. We have the only food processing authority in the state of Michigan that has to have proved if anything's going onto the shelves, that'll have a shelf life. So a great network of individuals. The facilities, there's 3 of them I mentioned: Food Processing Innovation Center, the Dairy Complex, and then Farm, all state-of-the-art, FDA certified, USDA. There's a network of resources and individuals to be able to utilize those facilities. So the difference between Farm and the Food Processing Innovation Center, I mentioned that they were developed at kind of the same time frame, parallel to one another. At the time, MSU was not interested in Farm. And I sat in that meeting, and when the no came, I was really disappointed in that happening. I was on the academic side, but I knew that Muskegon was the place for that facility. And I saw the need out there because people were wanting to move out of a kitchen, move out of Kitchen 242, kickstart a kitchen, their home kitchen, and didn't have any place to go. I did believe in the concept behind Farm. FPIC was on a different track. They were filling that with a lot of high-tech equipment, state-of-the-art equipment, where individuals can come in and lease that space by the hour, by the day. If it gets longer than that, they can do that, but it's a little bit tougher to do that. Spiralizing oven, spiralizing freezer, vacuum packing, reduced oxygen, bottle line, all of that stuff. Lease rates are about $3,500 a day. Okay, that's big people going in there, running production and getting that done. Farm is a little bit different. It is managed by the Product Center, but clients provide their own equipment. They lease that space and put their equipment in that so that they can help scale up and get in their own brick and mortar or to get to a co-packer, co-manufacturer of some type. Now, we have some clients who will make that jump right directly from a Kitchen 242 to a co-manufacturer, but that's not everybody. There's unique spaces where a co-manufacturer just can't handle those individuals because it's a unique product. They don't have the time, space, or energy. So that's a long-term, longer-term lease space for these individuals. This is a farm without a client in that, so you can kind of see this open space. It has a receiving area, a processing area, and then a shipping area, along with some coolers, and we've got some other equipment. So this showed up yesterday. This is the mobile food processing lab on the academic side of things. It is a $1.5 million piece of equipment, and then equipment can be shipped in, exchanged out, and it is designed to be on the educational side of things. So the Food Processing Safety and Technology program at Muskegon Community College in cooperation with Michigan State can utilize their students with the equipment on this, and then they can bring a new set of equipment into this as well. The advantage is that when farm was built, they built the docking station right there so that we can actually switch out equipment if we want to be able to utilize some of that, or a client wants to utilize some of that equipment that's at Michigan State or at FPIC, and we can bring its pilot equipment that we can bring up and move around. We will do that. So we have that option to add that to that. And we have a different focus than what maybe they do down on campus. We focus on primarily fruit and vegetable producers, entrepreneurs, and startups. We do have R&D for medium and large food manufacturers that want to have a little playground but not take up their time in their own R&D facility. Workforce development and training is a big piece for that and big vision for that. Technology and equipment manufacturers, we have 2 right now, cutting edge technologies that want to utilize the space and utilize that docking station to try out their equipment. In the end, they've got to locate someplace. Our goal is to get them here, accelerate them, and then have them locate right here in Muskegon County, because they're going to be next to the processors, next to the producers. That's when things are going to happen. And we are looking at expanding. So is it Scott? Yes, hi. We are definitely going to connect. We're looking at expanding at some of that indoor grow part of that, and some of these technology people are in that realm. So it's really exciting what we can do, grow year-round right here in Muskegon, provide food for institutions. We're looking at things, and this is not anything public right now. I guess it will be after I say that. We're looking at possibly have an anchor of a school-wide central kitchen here in Muskegon, which can utilize the 10 cents a meal program that's in the high schools, in all the public schools, and providing customized meals where students can actually have a role in playing in what they eat, what they develop, healthy, local foods that can be produced right here in Muskegon, and develop that workforce around that as well. And we've got data to back up that students are going to eat things they normally wouldn't when they're involved in that process. And that's really exciting to see that happening. And it's definitely going to impact the health of this county. And we all know what the health is of this county. We need to move up from where we've traditionally been, and I think this is a way to do that. So STEM workforce development, we were asked to facilitate a grant by the Helmet Aerospace Foundation, which we are doing, on STEM training around food and agriculture. So we're have an initiative that we're working on with that. Note that there's an Ag Exploration Day at the Muskegon's Farmers Market on May 7th. It's an Ag Day. Bring your kids, bring your family. It's going to be a great time. We're going to look somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 people. So there'll be animals there. There'll be equipment there. The mobile food processing trailer will be there. Some of the product center clients will be there with their food products, so you get to be able to try those and sample those. And then at the West Michigan Research Station, which is new up in Hart, If you haven't been up there, that's quite a facility, and that's on the Ag Bio Research side. We're going to do a harvest day up there in the fall, just to, again, try to interact and bring people closer to ag and food processing. A little disclaimer, there is not a Spartan helmet on this outside the building. I do this to my director all the time, saying that needs to happen sometime quickly, and there's all kinds of regulations about having a Spartan helmet. So they said I needed to do a donation or something like that, and I said, well, Rich Houdeman's got all kinds of money, he can do that. Recipe for success, product center clients. So we have clients in Muskegon County that we utilize that are not at farms. So I work with people that are at Kitchen 242 that are working out of their home kitchens, their own licensed kitchens. Work with private partnerships. We leverage capital, engage producers and processors. We have a USDA informational session on value-added producer grants at the Career Tech Center next week. We try to leverage all of those networks to be able to help our clients become successful in the industry. Engaging students, developing that workforce, it's bad all over, but it's even worse in food and ag right now. We need to make those connections to be able to supply that workforce. Nobody's going to stop eating. Well, at least I'm not going to stop eating. You don't get a body like mine without trying just about everything you come across. So that is going to continue to happen, and we still need a workforce where we have safe, healthy food coming to our tables. And that's part of my I guess, mission beyond my job, and it's entails my job, but we want to grow West Michigan in all aspects, and we can do that. Cultivating research and innovation is going to be accelerating there too. Some of those things you'll never hear about. You'll see them on the stores or the results of that. Some of that technology you'll not hear about, but it might be shelf life extension. It might be getting transported produce that's going to last longer. Because of that technology. It's going to be zero pesticides, zero, not organic, but zero. The technology is pretty incredible that's out there, and some of that, especially when you're indoor farming or container farming, you can control those atmospheres really well, and you can do them without any chemicals. So that's an exciting piece. So economic impacts, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this was just in the last year with the Product Center. We make some definite impacts, as you can see there, and revenue generation, and Muskegon's going to be part of this. Think about the impact of people coming into the accelerator, and then they're going to have to find a place to go. And that's a big challenge right now. That infrastructure piece is really, really important. Transportation, water, we've already got wastewater. And all over the Midwest, when I talk to any economic development group, they're going, yeah, our problem is wastewater, our problem is wastewater. We don't have that problem. We've got excess wastewater capacity. We just need to build those other pieces to go to it, and then we've got all kinds of access for people to locate. And they want to do that. Had situations where they've been turned down. One last real quick thank you that I need to make, and that's Todd and Janelle at the Community Foundation. I really, your help has been invaluable. The fact of the Community Foundation taking on ownership of farm was huge, and it's not something to take lightly. So Michigan State University really appreciates that. I appreciate all of the help along those lines. Kathy, thanks for all the help on writing grants and doing that kind of stuff. I can't tell you enough, again, how appreciative Michigan State is for all of the efforts behind this, and stay tuned. This is just the beginning. I was on a phone call yesterday, and I am so super excited by the opportunities that can happen here, and it's going to grow outside of farm. It's going to become a major player here in West Michigan. So thank you, and go green.
All right, we have time for a few questions. If anyone has any for Clarence, Looks like Dave has one, and where is Jackie Fisher? Where'd you go? That's your cue, Jackie.
Welcome back to West Michigan.
Thanks.
You sound like the gentleman that should be doing this. So, staffing. Where is the food industry as it relates to all the employment issues that I think all of our businesses here are finding, and what's the strategy for your industry going forward?
Thanks. If I had the right answer, somebody would probably steal me away and have me go work for them in their industry. It's really, as we know, it's really complex. We've got food processors that are running 24/7 and are only filling 75 to 80% of their orders. That's still happening. We have a food processing safety and technology program that some of their employees could probably utilize, but that means pulling them off of a line to get them the education. So part of our big goal is to reach out to those people, Mr. Byard, that don't know what food processing is, don't even know that exists. So when I was on the academic side, I would talk to high school students. I'd send a sheet around to them and have them list all the careers that they could come up with. Jointly, together. First of all, the highest I ever got was like 33 jobs that they could come up with, job titles. In the College of Agricultural and Natural Resources, we have like 400 majors. I mean, there's a disconnect out there. They could get doctor, lawyer, policeman, whatever their parents did, that type of thing. Food processing isn't on anybody's radar. And part of that has been the food processing industry's own issue, right? They don't want people it used to be I couldn't get into a plant. They just didn't want people stealing information, food safety issues, all of that. And they were happy chugging away at what they were doing. That's totally changed now. We need people in those industries. The Mobile Food Processing Lab is an example of that. The STEM program is an example of that. So Howmet Aerospace, can't thank them enough for the STEM grant. But the first question came, why food processing? Why is Howmet interested in getting people into food processing when they make jet engines? Well, they can't take a jet engine into a high school. I can take my mobile lab, not my mobile lab, I need to be careful. I could take MSU's mobile lab, put it at a high school or put it at the farmer's market and show them real-time equipment. Howmet says, we're gonna grab them. We'll get those students involved in STEM careers and then we're gonna go after them as well. But it's getting those students engaged in those types of topics, hands-on activities. And I'm not offending, I don't mean to offend anybody, but we have oversold in a way, a liberal arts degree. 4 years of that's what you have to do. And I've done that. I went through those educational programs and they're very, very good and I encourage everybody to do that. But they're not for everyone. When we removed industrial arts out of the high schools, we did a major disservice to a huge population of students that are now lost. And our job is to come back and bring them back into the fold, so to speak, because there are jobs out there for them. Sorry, you got me on my soapbox.
Well said. All right, we got time for one more question from Todd.
Yeah, mine's not a question. I just wanted to take a second and to thank Clarence and MSU for coming in on this project. It is critical for our being able to move it forward. But we're 3 years in on this grant. In this grant, the farm wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Kevin Donovan and Gary Post in their building of this fine facility. You mentioned Kathy and the work that she's doing, but Jim and Morgan at GMED as well, and certainly Marty with the Food Processing Association. And so a lot of Rotarians have been a part of this, and I would just ask that we continue to receive the support of this group as we move forward, and it does bear a great opportunity for West Michigan and specifically for Muskegon County.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Clarence, for presenting today. Our club is going to make a donation to Community Economic Development on your behalf. One more round of applause for Clarence. All right, we're at birthdays. Is Tim DeMumbrin here today? Well, if you see Tim, wish him happy birthday on the 11th, and we'll save everyone from my singing today. Okay, on to our member spotlight, and this ties in perfectly to something that Clarence mentioned about our wastewater treatment plant. We're going to be featuring Doc Demersion today. We're going to learn a little bit about what he does and did in the past outside of Rotary.
My name is Gervant Demerjian. I joined the Rotarian, became a Rotarian 2011. I joined it because it's a good social organization, service organization, and I have so many friends in there. I'm married to Donna Graham 56 years ago, and we have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and we have 2 grandchildren. I'm an Armenian by ethnic background. My parents moved from Turkish Armenia. We lived a few years in Syria, then we moved to Lebanon. Then I came to the United States. I got accepted into Rackham Graduate Studies at the University of Michigan, and I got enrolled into Environmental Sciences and Engineering, subspecialty in water purification, water treatment. We moved to Muskegon because we took part in the construction of the wastewater system that the county at that time undertaking it, and it is unique in its kind. And it was in 1973 $100 million project. That was quite a bit of big project. And I was hired as a technical director of the system. Then after construction, the county asked me, show us what to do with it. I think we should look into younger generation and cultivate them towards becoming a member of the Rotarians, because that's the future of the younger generation. And also we should try to solicit other social organizations, try to get membership from them to join the Rotarians, because they have quite a bit of skills there.
Thank you very much, Doc. Your work is still having an impact 50 years later. Okay, Josh Silvis and Tom Palmer, it's time for Tom's induction. Come on up.
All right, I have the pleasure today to introduce to you all a new member, coworker, friend of mine, Tom Palmer. Tom was born and raised in Muskegon, and actually both, something through the process of joining Rotary, I learned about Tom that I didn't know before. Both of his sisters had polio and actually suffer from post-polio syndrome still today. And something that he was going to join Rotary anyway, but I think this pulled on the heartstrings a little bit more. He's a 1982 Muskegon High School graduate, Muskegon Community College graduate, and 1986 Michigan State University graduate. He returned to Muskegon to start his first foray into insurance, selling life insurance with a company called Western Southern Life. He met his wife, Chris, and decided that he wanted to be home in the evenings and started doing industrial sales, which he did for many, many years, so he could spend more time with her. Chris, unfortunately, was killed in an accident in 2001 after 12 years of marriage, and Tom said he was comforted and felt that God had held him in the hollow of his hand through that ordeal. Right after Chris passed, he was approached by someone about becoming an evangelist, and was ordained in 2002. He's worked with 4 congregations in Michigan to help them grow, and still to this day travels to other states to teach. He met his wife, Karen, at church in 2004, and his first thought was, when he saw her, is God bringing me a wife, love at first sight. They were married in less than a year, and that was 17 years ago. They live in Twin Lake with 2 dogs and 23 chickens, and produce, in my opinion and my son's opinion, some of the finest eggs in the area. Insurance came back into his life in 2006 when he was approached to own an agency of Farm Bureau Insurance, and then made the change to our office at Shoreline in 2013 to kind of have a little bit more of a team approach and come to work with coworkers and his staff. He's focused on home, auto, and life insurance. Outside the office, Tom likes riding and fixing bikes, camping, fishing, and bow hunting, and I've seen him several times where Tom has biked into those camping trips way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm much more of an RV camper kind of guy, but Tom roughs it for sure. He's an active volunteer with Bluebird Cancer Retreats and Reed Muskegon, a former board member of each of those organizations. He currently sits on the Lake Michigan Estate Planning Council. He's a founding member of the Lakeshore Referral Partners Networking Group, and he's been a chamber ambassador for 15 years. He advocates for everything Muskegon and continues to work closely with two West Michigan congregations in their faith. Definition of success for Tom is finding peace in all situations, and there's a scripture verse that speaks to that, Philippians 4:6-7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So I've seen Tom now as a coworker every day for almost a decade, and I've known him for longer than that. And I don't know if I've met anybody who walks service over self the way that he does. He is going to be a tremendous addition to this club. I'd love to welcome Tom to this great organization.
You can hand Jackie that. I'm going to hand you both. Oh, but don't, you're not done just yet, Tom. Well, come on back, both, you too, Josh. All right. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, the Rotary Club of Muskegon is privileged to induct a new member. We encourage you to learn about Rotary by actively participating in the club, including attending meetings, social events, and service projects. It is my pleasure to give you this pin by which your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a member. We ask you to wear it proudly. I would also like to issue a challenge to you to share the gift that has been given to you and invite another person with like qualities of character, reputation, and commitment to join our club within the next 3 months. The honor of becoming a Rotarian is only surpassed by sponsoring new members. Do you accept this challenge?
I do.
He said he did. Thank you. Everyone, please rise and welcome the newest Rotarian in the world, Tom Palmer. All right. You can be seated now. You're looking. What a story. I love those inductions because we get to hear more about our new members. Okay, brave Rotarians, I have the privilege of announcing that we have 32 brave Rotarians signed up. So Ginny doesn't have to come up here this week. So more to follow on that as the March Madness tournament starts. Most of you have paid, but if you haven't, Kathy Betts, raise your hand. Kathy can take your credit card information or check today, $100 payable to the Muskegon Rotary Foundation. So thanks everyone for stepping up, and we're looking forward to seeing how the tournament goes. Okay, committee reports and announcements. Meredith Smiley, Mel Buffner, America Dobry, if you guys want to come on up. 1 minute. 1 minute announcements. You're going to go first and set the tone, Merica? All right.
He looked at me when he said 1 minute, and I feel like that's on purpose. I just wanted to ask everybody to take out your calendars, your cell phones, jot down on a piece of paper the date. June 3rd is Rotary's Party in the Park. I don't have band information yet, but I just wanted to make sure that you all had that on your calendars. This is the first party in the park of the year, so we're hoping for a great turnout. Stay tuned as our committee works on things. We are also going to be sending a link so that you can order brand new Rotary apparel. We're very excited about that, so stay tuned. I know many of you have been asking for some super cool new Rotary swag, so we've arranged for that to go through Trophy House this year. So stay tuned. I'll get that link to you as soon as it is active. Thank you.
All right. As many of you know, Muskegon Rescue Mission has launched the public phase of our capital campaign. Next Tuesday, we are hosting a public event, an informative panel of local business leaders talking about the impact the preschool, the daycare, and the community resource center will have in our community. You know, people like Brian Benton, our very own Kathy Moore will be there, Melissa Moore from Reed Muskegon, among others. We're going to have a strolling dinner from 6 to 7 with some live jazz, and then from 7 to 8, we will have the panel of business leaders talking about the campaign. So just inviting you to come and learn, come enjoy some dinner, come and fellowship with some people in the community, and be part of this new project here in Muskegon.
All right, your weekly update for Grape Escape Preview. We have about half of our slots filled, and we really need to fill them. So you have 10 days. The date is March 24th. The menu is on your table. It looks fantastic. So go ahead and go back to your emails, go to Facebook, go to the website, register at Eventbrite, and we'll see you at courses in 10 days. Kathy will also take your credit card today, as long as Kathy emails me who she took her credit cards from. So thank you.
15 seconds.
This is gonna be good.
You watch. Somebody got to watch. On behalf of the Interact Committee, thank you. Muskegon High Schools Club is reemerging after a 4-year hiatus. We're totally out of pop cans, and they need some money to start their treasury going. They got a lot of projects going between now and June. If you can bring them here next Thursday, or call me and I'll get them picked up, or Blake Kramer, either one of us, we want to get them started Saturday the 19th at Meyer, where the whole club is going to meet us and cash them in. Thank you.
That was good, John. Okay, a couple more club announcements. You might have noticed when we were setting up, we had to bring out another table, and it is fantastic to see so many of you here in person. But we do need to remember to respond to the sign-up genius by end of business on Monday, so we can let the Delta know how many of us are going to be here and how much food to make. So if you may have forgotten that today, this is your friendly reminder, so we can make sure everything is set up. Also, if you have any announcements, you can shoot them to me by Tuesday, and you're welcome to make the announcements, but I put them on the agenda, and that's how they are guaranteed to get in the rim. And then the last thing, oh, thanks, Susan. Susan always appreciates my agenda. And then the last thing is you have feedback cards on your table. So please take a moment and let the Delta know how you felt about the food and service today. They really do appreciate the feedback. So if you could take a moment to do that, that would be fantastic. All right, on to our raffle. Frank has got the raffle.
$380. I don't need this. I can scream. 380.
$380. Bill Locksterman exchanging money. $10. Kathy Brubaker Clark's trying to make change. Just take the money you're given. It's not how it works. What do we got? Oh, well. Oh, that would have been good to know. Okay, that brings us to the conclusion of our meeting. Thank you, Clarence, Jeff, Dawn, Eileen, Scott, Eliza, Mackenzie, Travis, Ken, Megan, Kelty, and welcome Tom To the club, next week's program is going to be an update from Michelle Harris on what's going on with Harris Hospitality and the deck. So you want to come check that out on St. Patrick's Day. Remember to wear your green. All right, if everyone could please rise, we will recite the four-way test. And after the meeting, Eliza and Mackenzie will be out front taking additional donations for their Honduras trip. Dig in your pocket and drop a few bucks in before you head out. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right. Enjoy the rest of your week.